Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you can join me here today. This week I had the opportunity to go and listen to one of my best authors, an author that I've read and admired for a while. I've read some of his books, followed his works, listened to his podcasts, and I really enjoyed his way of life, essentially. His name is Ryan Holiday. He's a best-selling author of of a few books. He's published about 16 books, some of which are bestsellers. Um, they're mostly based around stoicism, which is the ancient school of philosophy of the Romans and the Greeks, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, etc. And the whole point is stoicism is how to live a good life, or as Socrates calls the examined life. So it basically gives us the framework of what it means to be a good human being and live a good life. So one of the books he's published is called The Obstacle is the Way, which is also a bestseller. And it's actually the 10th anniversary edition that I just recently bought as well. And this is a fantastic book. So I've read the first edition, but this is the 10th anniversary edition, which I haven't read yet. So I'm going to jump into it at some point in time. The other book that I've recently read is called Right Thing Right Now, which is all on justice. So basically, there are four Stoic virtues, the cardinal virtues. You have courage, you have discipline, you have justice, and you have wisdom. So he's written a book on all four of them. Well, three of them for now, and then the fourth one will be published eventually in a couple of years, most probably. The first one is obviously courage. So his book is called Courage is Calling. The second one is discipline. His book is called Discipline is Destiny. The third one is justice, which is this book here, Right Thing Right Now. And then the fourth one is wisdom, which is in progress, to be honest. And hopefully he should publish that eventually at some point in time. Now, anyways, I had a chance to basically watch him live for the first time, and it was a great honor to be able to listen to the man that I've admired for a while, and to be able to learn some of the things and the way of life that he proposes. And honestly, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely attend another talk that he gives. And so basically, the structure was he gave about a talk for about an hour, and then after that we had a Q&A, which was also very informative. So in this video, I'd like to just share a couple of nuggets of wisdom that I learned from that talk. And hopefully it might be useful and beneficial for anyone else. So like I said, there are four Stoic virtues, cardinal virtues, which he touched upon: courage, discipline, justice, and wisdom. And basically he was saying that we need all four of these virtues to be a balanced human being, because if we have one and not the other, then we're not in balance. And so, for example, if we have courage without justice, we'll start doing things haphazardly and not care about others' rights, because we'll be courageous to do things, but we won't care about whether it's impacting other people or not. Or for example, if you have like discipline, but there's no wisdom there, you'll just start doing things in a disciplined way, but you haven't thought everything out through, and you'll end up either burning yourself out or doing something you shouldn't be doing, causing detriment to yourself and to other people, because you just haven't thought about everything there is to think about. You haven't used your wisdom wisely, essentially. And so he went through all four of these, and gave us some examples. So he was saying, for example, one of the nuggets of wisdom that I found was, he said that in 2020, when the COVID virus hit the world, he had just opened his bookshop. The bookshop is called The Painted Porch. It's based in Texas. And it's been there for a few years now. But I really admire the bookshop, because in his bookshop he has about 1,000 books, and those are the books that he has read. He only has books that he has read, which is amazing, because then when someone comes to him and asks him about a book, it's something he has read, he's passionate about, he can tell them about it. He just doesn't have any book that he hasn't read there, which and reading 1,000 books is a lot of books. So he clearly reads well. He reads and writes for as a living, which is something I'm jealous of. I'd love to be able to do something like that. So yeah, anyways, when he opened the bookshop, COVID hit, and he realized that things were out of his control. And what would the Stoic do at that point in time? The Stoic would tell himself that, look, if things are out of control, out of my control, then I will let them be as they are. I will just try my best. And as long as I do my level best with whatever needs to be done, then that's all that's asked of me. That's all I need to do. And that's what a Stoic would say. And that's what he told himself. your 2020 will be the making of you or the breaking of you. But if it's out of your control, it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is just plod on, just try your best, and then hope for the best, and whatever happens will happen. So I thought that was a really useful piece of advice that I enjoyed. And then he was talking about wisdom, for example. So wisdom is another one of the four cardinal virtues, the fourth one. And he says, anyone who tells you that they are wise or that they have wisdom is actually not wise, or they've found wisdom. They actually haven't found wisdom, because the whole point is, as Socrates says, the one thing I know is that I do not know. When you start getting wise, you realize that you actually don't know much. You don't really know much. And one thing I admire about Ryan Holiday is that he walks the walk. He basically, not only does he write about stoicism, he practices it in the best way possible. So in one of the things he told us in the talk is that he said, look, I am not the most courageous person, but I am more courageous now than I was before. He said, I'm not the most disciplined person, but I'm more disciplined now than what I was before. I'm not the most just person, is what he said, but I'm more just now than what I was before. And the same with wisdom. He's not the most wise person, but he's more wise now than what he was before. And that's the whole point of the journey of life, where you walk through this journey and you iterate, you improve, you become the best version of yourself, and you compare yourself to yourself. I'm not comparing myself to Ryan Holiday because he's a different person. He's got a different set of circumstances. He's got a different life. He's got a different way of living compared to what I do. So I don't compare myself to him. I compare myself today to myself yesterday, to myself 10 years ago, to myself 20 years ago, 30 years ago, etc. Right? That's the whole point of living the examined life, is you examine your life and compare it to your life previously. And if your 2 days are the same, or if one day, today is worse than yesterday, then we have a problem. We have a problem because you're supposed to move forward in life and not backwards. And even if you do, it doesn't really matter, because it's a journey. As long as you're alive, you're breathing, there are chances to become better. So it doesn't matter if you've regressed, you can still progress and move up. Which I think is really, really a really useful and important reminder. And that's why I admire Ryan Holiday, because he walks the walk. Not only does he write about stoicism, he he tries as much as he can to be a stoic. It's funny because he said one of the jokes he made was, his wife says that that the two of them are into stoicism. One of them is a stoic, and the other one just writes about stoicism, which is obviously funny, but that's the point. Like you basically try your best, and if it happens, it happens. Another piece of nugget that he shared with us, which I think is a very useful, important reminder, something that I try and remind myself as well. He spoke about the concept of amor fati. Amor fati is a Latin word, Latin phrase that means the mortality of life. He says the fact is, life is mortal. Whether we like it or not, each and every single one of us is going to die. No matter how much you hate death, no matter how much you don't want to talk about death, you're going to die. There's no two ways about it. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not. So why not embrace it? And why not give yourself that opportunity to make changes now, before it's too late? Because once the last breath goes, that's it. It's game over. There's no coming back. No one has ever come back. No one is ever going to come back. And I most certainly will not come back. When I go, I'm gone. So why not make the most of these opportunities that we have, these breaths of life that we have, that we can make a difference before they're taken away? Because if you lose money, you can make it back for sure. But if you lose time, then unfortunately you can't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's gone forever. It's gone to the void, and you cannot make it back. So this another piece of nugget of wisdom that I've taken from him, is to basically make the most of my life, and do whatever I can. If I've got a bucket list, I want to go skydiving, running a marathon, doing whatever I want to do it, because once the opportunity passes, then it's too late, right? Or make up with people you've broken relations with, do things you want to do, make things right that you would want to make right, travel to where you want to travel to, because these are the opportunities we have. We're young, essentially, or even if you're old, it doesn't really matter. You all have your own circumstances, but when you are able to do something go forward and do it, because opportunities, as the Arabic quote says, are like passing clouds. Once the cloud is passed, it's gone. It's never coming back. So that's something else that I took from it, and I hope to apply it in my life. There's a book by Oliver Berkman, the Telegraph journalist. It's called 4,000 Weeks. If you've read it, you know what it's all about. That the fact that we only have 4,000 weeks to live, and we have to make the most of these 4,000 weeks. Otherwise, I mean, it's a very short time. Life will just pass by, in a blink, and we won't even know. So I hope these nuggets of wisdom are useful, and I hope I encourage you to pick up one of Ryan Holiday's book. If you want to pick up a book, I definitely recommend The Obstacle is the Way. This is probably one of the first books I read about Ryan Holiday. A fantastic gateway into his worldview. There's a book called The Daily Stoic, where he basically gives 366 reminders, a reminder for each day of the year, Stoic reminder, which is also a good book to venture into as a first book. He's got a book called The Daily Dad. I'm a father, so I found it really useful. It's basically a nugget of wisdom for every day of how to be a good dad. And Ryan Holiday shows this again by practical examples, because he tries his best to be a good dad. So yeah, I'd definitely encourage you to read any of the books that Ryan Holiday has published. Like I said, he's published about 16 books around there. So there's lots to choose from, and yeah, I think The Obstacle is the Way is probably the way to go, because you will get a good insight into the life of Stoicism. All right, that's it from me for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, then please let me know in your comments. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. See you soon.